Welcome back. Welcome back to Young Tripp Reactions. Yeah. Insane. Absolutely insane. Such a damn shame.
You're watching Young Tripp Reactions, the show where rapper Young Tripp reacts to the latest videos on crime, drama, news, and so much more. Get ready, because the show's about to start. Let's go.
Pete. Welcome back to Young Tripp Reactions. The next video we're gonna do is one of the ones that I have to keep covering for some odd reason that this keeps happening. A black 16-year-old girl was found hanging from a tree outside of a church. This is insane. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Tripp family. If you have any videos that you want to hear me react to on the channel, post it in my community tab or send it to me through direct message over on my professional FB or my professional Instagram. Also, make sure you come follow me over on my professional FB and my professional Instagram, because I post over there as well too. If you have any situations involving police misconduct, injustice, violations of civil rights involving you, a friend, or a loved one, send that to me through direct message over on my professional FB or my professional Instagram. Let me know about if there's civil rights attorneys involved, similar to Ben Crump or Ben Crump himself. Let me know about the activists that are involved so I can join them in the fight for justice for you and your family, as an activist myself. If it does involve a friend or a relative, see if they want to come onto the channel and be interviewed on the channel, and give their story about what happened with them. If they're not in a situation or don't feel comfortable doing that, you can come on and speak for them, or you can give me the information, write it down, give me the information that you want out there. Plus, I'll pull the public information and get it out there. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Tripp family, and let's get into this.
A family is demanding answers. A family is demanding answers after a black 16-year-old is found hanging from a tree. Put it up for a match.
Put it up for a match, Jordan.
The story is going to break your heart.
Put it up for a match.
The death of Juliana Inzadi Inzeta. Put it up for a match. The story is going to break your heart. The death of Juliana Inzadi Inzeta, a 16-year-old black child whose body was found hanging from a tree outside a Charlotte church, is now drawing renewed attention after an investigation by who? Well, the Charlotte Observer. I'm going to go back to the Charlotte Observer in just a moment, because they've been instrumental in a few cases. They uncovered questions about how quickly the authorities ruled the case to be.
I already know. They're going to say it was a unaliving by the victim themselves. Oh, it's always us. It's always our people. We unaliving ourselves. Every case that I've covered, and you can go back and go look at them, where the police have stated they did it to themselves, they unalived themselves. I even have one that I still haven't even recorded yet of a young man that was running from the police, and somehow he ended up hanged from a tree. And they're still trying to investigate how it happened. And the police officer who was chasing him, who some people believe did it to him, is still working. But I'll eventually get to that. But it's always that we are doing things to ourselves. And that, our people. That's not normal for us to be hanging ourselves from trees. Let's not forget about the social media content creator like myself, where she went out of town with her boyfriend who proposed to her while she was out of town, and then she was found hanging from the door, the child situation, but there's an influencer named Janaea as well too, where she went out of town, got engaged to her fiance, the Joe guy, and they had an argument. They were separated in rooms, and next thing you know, she was found hanging from a door and ruled by the country that they were in that she allegedly did it herself. Insane. In every case, it's never been somebody did it. It's always been that our people have always done it to themselves. Insane. Let's continue.
The 60 questions about how quickly the authorities ruled the case to be the 16-year-old unaliving herself. They also highlighted the steps taken during ruled the case.
What'd I tell you?
To be the 16-year-old unaliving herself. They also highlighted the steps taken during the investigation. Now, before I continue, I want to remind everyone that on Indisputable, we constantly critique the speed of an investigation when they conclude without an exhaustive analysis, when they conclude that said death had no foul play, no evidence of foul play. And the major red flag is the timing of their conclusion. And typically, once media gets involved, once we get involved, the local law enforcement will say something like, well, we are still looking at all the evidence, or we are taking the opportunity.
If you're still looking at evidence, then you don't really even know what happened to be coming to that conclusion. It's the same thing like with the situation with Nolan Wells, all of these cases involving where the people who may have done it may look different than them. This is crazy, yo. Let's continue.
To looking at all the evidence, or we are taking the opportunity to listen to individuals who may have a tip, but they've concluded that there's no foul play without a proper investigation. That was a red flag to the paper. There's more. Inzeta was discovered on May 8th in the yard of United House of Prayer for All People in North Charlotte after a man walking his dog noticed what initially appeared to be someone standing near a tree. As he approached, he realized it was the body of the missing teenager, suspended by a ratchet strap wrapped around a tree limb, while her feet remained on the ground near a small blue toddler-sized chair. According to the Charlotte Observer, the Mecklenburg County Medical Examiner determined within days that the 16-year-old unalived herself. And the Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department closed the investigation 4 days, 4 days after. The decision has since been challenged by members of her family, leaders at the church where she was found, and community members who say the circumstances warranted a more extensive investigation. I want you to understand the parallels of this. Individuals who are not involved, for example, members of the church and leadership of the church where the body was found, the family, who's obviously significantly involved, and a newspaper who doesn't have skin in the game as far as bias one way or the other. Every one of those groups said, no, there's something more here. The only people who said this case is closed and there's no evidence of foul play happened to be the police or those who work police adjacent. That's it. Nobody else. There's more. Questions surrounding the case intensified after the newspaper reported that police never recovered the 16-year-old cell phone.
How did you not recover the cell phone? Because why wouldn't the person take their cell phone with them if they were going to do that? Most people, people are so slow about people unaliving themselves. If a person is really going to unalive themselves, they're going to text people, they're going to say goodbye. Sometimes people will sell stuff to people. They will get rid of things. It's usually not at the spare of a moment. Because to think about doing something like that, you have to really think about it. It's not something, somebody doesn't just wake up. I mean, you have to be really, really depressed to do that. Something had to like just tragically happen that you don't think you can come back from. People don't just unalive themselves. Even if people threaten to do that, it just doesn't just happen. That takes time. You have to have like history of mental illness and all that. Some people can have a bad moment and really end up doing it, but that is so rare. These police departments, as a person who always wanted to be a homicide detective, I even know that that's not how it really goes. Because I will investigate every case, and I don't care what you look like. I don't care about the color of your skin. If I was able to be a police officer, I would investigate every case thoroughly from beginning to end, not be trying to investigate and do it based off of color of skin. And I think that's why they want to be so quick to just close the case and be like, yep, she did it to herself. When that may not be the case. Yeah, where's her phone? Why she didn't text anybody? Why didn't her family get any messages first or anything like that? This is crazy. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Tripp family. Let's continue. And there's just too many cases of this taking place right now.
Interview the man who found her to never recover the 16-year-old cell phone. Did not interview the man who found her body and did not perform an autopsy.
You didn't even interview the person who found her. You didn't even do an autopsy. You just looked at her and said, yep, she did it herself. Wow. So we just know that people can just walk around out here and unalive people by hanging them from trees. If and it's more likely that they'll be looked at as they did it themselves. Okay. I guess we're gonna have a lot of suspects out here just looking now. Hey, you know what to do. I guess if you just threaten somebody, well, you with a push button machine, let me just hang you from a tree. You better, I'm gonna end up unaliving you, and you just don't think somebody is gonna not fight back and make themselves end up getting popped with the push button machine or poked with the sword of justice. I guarantee you they're gonna fight back. They just don't want to investigate to see if that's what really happened. just investigate it and find out if that's what really happened. If that's what really happened, that's what really happened. Because people are going to start trying to use that as a way to try to get rid of people, and try to find ways to do that where they can get away with it because the police won't investigate it, because they're just going to assume people are just hanging from trees, especially colored folks, black people, Mexican people, Asian people like that. Absolutely insane. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Tripp family. Let's continue.
Although authorities said did not interview the man who found her body and did not perform an autopsy. Although authorities said a thorough physical examination was conducted. The local police also declined requests to make investigators available for interviews and initially offered little public explanation about how detectives reached their conclusion. Once again, this is coming to light because a newspaper, a journalistic outfit, your other required transparency ally, got involved, being the free press. The free press.
There's a new career and a new
Advertisement,
training that you can start with no previous experience.
See, ally got involved, being the free press. The free press. Kenneth Tolbert, the man who discovered the body, told the newspaper he immediately alerted people at the church after recording video of the scene. Direct quote, "I wanted to talk to you all about it first, this being y'all's property and all," end quote. Tolbert said in the recording before church members contacted 911. Tolbert later said he was surprised investigators never contacted him. Quote,
That's insane, because they didn't care to. They already came up with their conclusion. It's a colored person. They probably hanged themselves. Wow. Let's continue.
This were a white investigators never contacted him. Quote, if this were a white girl who was found hanging at a Myers Park church, the police would have been all over this. It would have been national news in 72 hours. End quote. This is what he told the Charlotte Observer. Another quote, we cannot let Juliana's death be in vain. There has to be transparency and an investigation. So I'm going to get into the police actually defending their investigation after this story came out. But if you're looking at the circumstantial evidence, there's no cell phone recovered. A person is actually in the yard of a church hanging. That person happens to be 16 years of age. There's significant interpretive elements of potential foul play. This is why you have an investigation. You assume there's foul play because there's a dead body. That's the assumption. You have to rule out that assumption. You don't rule it in. Following questions from the newspaper. The local police defended its investigation, saying detectives found no evidence of foul play. We are getting very familiar with that terminology. The department said a physical examination, whatever that means, because it did not mean autopsy, revealed no defensive injuries or signs of physical or sexual assault, and stated that a broken...
Somebody could have held a push button machine to her or a sword of justice to her and made her go along with the whole thing. Have you ever thought about that? If your life is being threatened, maybe you can't even fight back, so you have to go along with it and get unalived, to get hanged, to get whatever happened, get popped with the push button machine, poked with the sword of justice, whatever the case may be, or you're just threatened with it and then you just get unalived by getting, the H word. So, by hanged. And so, because somebody's threatening you. If somebody's threatening you and they're holding weapons to you, everything could just happen. And there may not be no defensive wounds or anything. That could be this person's motive. That could be the motive in all these different cases that we keep seeing happen like this. Let's continue. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification and join the Young Tripp family. Let's continue.
Tree limb revealed no defensive injuries or signs of physical or sexual assault, and stated that a broken tree limb may explain the position in which Juliana's body was discovered. Police also said surveillance cameras on the church property did not capture footage relevant to the case. I want you to keep that up, Jordan.
Keep it up there, Jordan.
The police department said they found no evidence of foul play. That's because you did not do an investigation. You didn't even question the man that found the body. Initially, typically, that's the primary person that you talk to first. Because that person, even if they did not commit a crime, they may have seen something that's relevant to the actual case. But there's no investigation, there's no interview, there's no interrogation.
This short 59-page book will make 6 figures on Amazon this year. In fact, I paid ghostwriters to create books exactly like these ones, and then you can sell them for $10 to $20 over and over again on Amazon.
Have seen something. A person that you talk to first. Because that person, even if they did not commit a crime, they may have seen something that's relevant to the actual case. But there's no investigation, there's no interview, there's no interrogation. In addition to that, they claim the physical examination revealed no defensive injuries. Physical examination. Understand the wordology, not autopsy. They stayed away from that word. Physical examination. That is another red flag. Why not do an autopsy? If there's no defensive wounds, possibly she was drugged.
Facts. I'm with Rashad. Maybe she could have been, drugged somehow. She could have been restrained somehow. I've already kind of brought up within the video, maybe she was threatened with a push button machine or a sword of justice, to go along with all of this. You got to have an open mind, not just be closed-minded. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Tripp family. Let's continue.
No police. I'm not a detective is another red flag. Why not do an autopsy? If there's no defensive wounds, possibly she was drugged. I'm no police. I'm not a detective. But I've watched enough Law and Order to know, damn it, just because somebody doesn't have a defensive wound doesn't mean that they have not had an interaction with an adverse individual. Know that for a fact. It happens. Still, independent experts interviewed by the newspaper said several aspects of the case stood out. Former Baltimore crime scene investigator Asha Lane questioned if investigators even conducted testing for DNA. Did they conduct testing for drugs or alcohol? Common stuff. And if the ratchet strap received a forensic analysis. That's to get evidence. Meanwhile, Juliana's family, they have had to commission their own autopsy, which attorney Jill Colin Jefferson said will include DNA tests. It's a damn shame that you pay taxes in order to have protective services, in order to have at least a routine investigation if something, God forbid, happens to one of your loved ones, and you have to pay a private investigator and private laboratories to do what the police decided not to do, and then doubled down on why they did not do it when the news gets involved. Well, it's not just the news. Qualified experts who work in the field said those cops, those detectives, those investigators did not conduct a thorough investigation, period. Not just the news, not just the media, not just an opinion, but from people who actually do the job. There's more.
ChatGPT, I make $100,000 a year and still feel broke. What's an easy way for me to double my income?
Juliana is up who actually do the job. There's more. Juliana's uncle, Inzadi Inzeta, said he remains unconvinced. He remains unconvinced that authorities thoroughly examined the circumstances surrounding his niece's death. Quote, "This is the U.S. This is not a third world country." End quote. He told the newspaper while questioning why no autopsy was ordered and why some of Juliana's belongings were withheld after investigators concluded she died by unaliving herself. Several criminal justice and forensic experts interviewed by the Charlotte Observer also said the case presented unusual factors that they believe merited closer scrutiny. For example, given the history of racial violence involving public hangings in the South, would it not be fair to conclude that if there's a hanging, especially in the South, that perhaps that's evidence enough of potential foul?
Not to them, even though to us, we know that it's more likely that something happened. And again, as I stated throughout this video, that there's been too many cases of this. Too many cases of this. The person at the Georgia State University, as I've stated earlier, I think there was some over in Mississippi that I covered as well too. I think there was one in another place that I covered. Like I said, I have several of these on my channel. Everybody just did it to themselves. They just did it to themselves. Every one of these victims. I don't know about all that. This is crazy. People will get away with, like I stated earlier, people will get away with doing this to somebody else because the police don't want to take the time to investigate it. And as I stated throughout this particular reaction, that as a person who always wanted to be a homicide detective, I'm investigating every case. I don't care about what color they look like. I don't care what type of lifestyle they lived. It doesn't matter if I agree or disagree with something about them. None of that. I'm investigating, doing my job, and investigating the case. An everyday person like me, Rashad, or anybody, if we don't do what we're supposed to do regarding our jobs, we won't get paid. We will be let go. We will be terminated. Somehow, because the police, because it's a state job, I guess, or it's a government job, and it falls under those categories, you can just get away with not doing the job. And then not to even try to go this far, it seems like a person of a certain race, if you're a certain race, you can get away with trying to do the job the way you want to do it versus the way you're supposed to do it. Versus if a person like me or Rashad or a person that is, Mexican, a person that's of color, if they try to do their job differently than they're supposed to, then they don't have a job anymore. If you're not doing it exactly the way you're supposed to do it. Versus the police can do their job how they want to do it and come to the conclusion of that they want to come to, versus doing a full investigation and coming to the conclusion that they're supposed to come to. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. It just reminds me of the same whole situation regarding like Nolan Wells' case and how they're already, how they jumped to conclusions that he drowned and all this other stuff, and you're not totally investigating. It's that people, they hung themselves, they drowned, they did this, they did that, they unalived themselves. It's always something like that. Instead of, hey, maybe this person did it. And a lot of times it's because you don't want to say this other person or these other people did it that was hanging out with the person, because they look like you. They look like your little nephew. They look like your little niece. They look like your daughter. They look like your son. And so you don't care. It's absolutely a shame. And like I said, as a person who always wanted to do this job, I would be investigating all cases, just like I cover all cases here on my channel. I have cases of African American people, and if you go look at the thumbnails, you'll see the pictures of them. I cover all people on this channel. It doesn't matter if they look like me or they don't. If they committed a crime, they're going to be right here. Go look at the case of Miles Bryant. I have it on my channel. Susanna Morales. If you search Young Tripp and put Susanna Morales after it, you will see the whole case where you can watch the whole first 48 episode of it. The cop who unalived her was a black cop, and I still covered it. These cops only want to cover things that involve if somebody of the same color as them did something to another person of the same color as them, or they want to cover it and hold the person accountable if it was another person of color doing something to another person of color. But it's wrong to put the person who looked like them and put them in jail or put them in prison who did something to a person who does not look like another black person or another Mexican or another Asian. They only want to put people who, if the victim is black and the other person is Caucasian, or if the other person is, Filipino, Asian, or anything like that, and then the person who did something to them was Caucasian, they'll never see a courtroom. That's insane. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Tripp family. Let's continue.
That alone, a hanging, especially in the South, that perhaps that's evidence enough of potential violence. That alone. A lot of speculation. I have a lot of questions. My questions are based on the circumstances that have been presented. Do you not want to know who did this? That's a relevant question for law enforcement. What do you avoid? You're going out of your way to avoid evidence for what? What reason would you go out of your way to avoid evidence? The Observer reported that Juliana, whose family immigrated from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, had been missing for several days before her body was discovered. Family members described her as kind and active in church. while also acknowledging she struggled with mental health challenges and endured severe bullying before
Why do these families keep telling the police that their relatives struggled with mental health issues and mental illness? Because that's another reason why they instantly jump to conclusions that the person did it to themselves. I don't understand why these families are so quick to tell people this. Because once you tell them that, it's over. The investigation is closed. If it's a person of color, the case is closed. If you're African American, Asian, Hispanic, anything like that, the case is over once you tell them that. I guarantee you, if a person who looked like them tell them that, they will still investigate it just to make sure. But we cannot be telling people that. They gotta conclude that. Let them conclude it. Let them make them think that, shoot, you don't know why this person did it. Because if you keep telling, oh, they struggled with this, they do got some mental illness and all that, it's over. You might as well forget about any type of investigation. We got to stop telling this stuff. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, join the Young Tripp family. And I'm not the type to say just go out here and just lie, but you can't tell that to people who already want it to be that, so they don't have to put nobody in jail that looks like them. Because it's so very unlikely that a person who looks like you or that's of color like you would do that to you if it is foul play. Let's continue.
Transitioning to virtual school, while also acknowledging she struggled with mental health challenges and endured severe bullying before transitioning to virtual school. It's very sad. We're going to stay on top of this. The family has launched a GoFundMe. Let's put it up. I want us to help this family as much as we can. They have a campaign to help cover expenses, cost of the independent investigation, autopsy, that they now have to do DNA tests, forensic analysis, etc. Donations have been paused for the time of their report. But if there's anything that we can do, and this is our cry to the family, this is our hope. If there's anything we can do at Indisputable, please let us know. All right, we'll bring updates as they come.
At Cheddar Scratch Kitchen, there's more than enough to go around. Every day we're cooking up.
Absolutely so sad. Absolutely sad. One thing that I will say to everybody, a person of color, African American, Caucasian, or African American, Asian, Hispanic, basically anybody of color, do not tell the police that your relative, friend, however you're connected to this person, that they struggle with mental illness. If you tell them that, if you're a person of color, like I said, African American, Asian, Hispanic, so like Filipino, African American, Thai, Hispanic, Mexican, anything like that, if you tell them that, it's over. Then you're gonna have to go do a whole bunch of extra and get that evidence together and then take it back to them. If you say that. If you leave it open and be like, we don't know, or no, that person, nope, investigate, then everything stays open. You may still have to go get these extra people to get involved, but if the moment you speak about mental illness, even though everybody has their own form of, mental illness and struggling with things, everybody struggles with things. But if you say, yeah, they really, really have some real serious issues with mental illness, then it's over. Then you have to go and get a whole bunch of other people involved and bring evidence to the police after that, if you're a person of color. So be mindful about saying stuff like that. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Tripp family. If you have any videos that you run across that you want to hear me react to on the channel, post it in my community tab or send it to me through direct message over on my professional FB or my professional Instagram. Also, make sure you come follow me over on my professional FB and my professional Instagram, because I post over there as well too. If you have any situations involving police misconduct, injustice, violations of civil rights, involving you, a friend, or a loved one, send that to me through direct message over on my professional FB or my professional Instagram. Let me know about the civil rights attorneys involved, similar to Ben Crump or Ben Crump himself. Let me know about the activists that are involved so I can join them in the fight for justice for you and your family. If it does involve a friend or a loved one, see if they want to come on the channel and be interviewed or give their side of the story about what happened with the encounter with the police or whoever it was involving. And whatnot. If they are not in a situation where they can come on and be interviewed, due to the circumstances, if it had a tragic outcome, or they're just not in a situation where they can come on and be interviewed at this time, then you can come on and speak for them, or you can give me the information and then I can speak, put the information out there that you guys want out there and pull the public information. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Tripp family. And also make sure you come follow me over on my professional FB and my professional Instagram. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Tripp family. And for people who have these types of incidents happening in their family involving their loved ones, do not just jump and tell them that they just struggle with mental illness, because then they're going to shut the whole case down. And I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.